Okay, so welcome again. We'll be continuing from where we had stopped. That is from the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And I think the fourth one, just let me confirm. Okay, the sixth one. Okay. So before we start, I'll just give a small recap. So Bhagavad Gita was spoken at the battlefield Mahabharat, and Arjuna was fighting with Duryodhan. Arjuna and his brothers were fighting with his cousin brothers, that is Duryodhan and 99 brothers, over property. The deal was that if the Pandavas come out of exile after 13-14 years and they would be undetected, then Duryodhan said, I will give back the kingdom, the Indraprasth that he had held when the gambling match took place. But it so happened that Duryodhan was not ready to give up. And he kept saying, no, no, we detected them. But Bhishma said, no, the day you detected was one day later to the 14-year period. So technically, you should give them. But Duryodhan was adamant. He said, I'm not giving. So there were multiple negotiations. In the last negotiation, the brothers, they thought that, this Duryodhan is very adamant. And already so much of trouble has been taken place. Fights and wars have taken place. Why do we want one more? So they were very compassionate. Yudhishthir and Arjuna, Bhima, Nakula, Sadev. So Yudhishthir thought, let's ask only for 5 villages. 5 villages are enough. Uh, so Krishna stood. He said, the Kauravas, they respect me, and you also respect me. So I can be the mediator. And Krishna went and said that to Duryodhan. Here, they are only asking 5 villages. Let's forget about whole Indraprasth. You keep it. But Duryodhan said, I'm not going to give a land which is equal to a tip of a needle. And then he insulted Krishna. He tried to capture him, but Krishna showed his universal form, and Duryodhan and party became bewildered. They don't know how to capture Krishna. And then Krishna said, you are forcing a war. And he returned back to the Pandavas and he said that Duryodhan is not listening. So both started preparing for war. After a few months, they arrived at a place called Kurukshetra, which is there in India, north of India, Kurukshetra. That is the exact place where the Mahabharata war took place in the month of December that we are in. And when there was Gita Jayanti, few weeks back, that is the exact day when the war took place. And the very first hour of that war, Arjuna said, Krishna, you take me. So if you know a little bit of Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata war, Krishna said, I'm not going to fight, but I will serve in other role, non uh, non fighting role. So Arjuna said, you become my charioteer, basically driver. So in the middle of the battlefield, Arjuna then said, Krishna, you take me in the middle of the battlefield. Take me. I want to see who all have come. Just like if there is any property fight, and in a court, and then someone in the family gets up and stands up and looks here and there. Let me see who all have come to fight it out. Similarly, Arjuna wanted to see. But what happened is Krishna took Arjuna in front of his grandfather and teacher. He didn't take him in front of Duryodhan. He took him in front of grandfather and teacher. When he saw grandfather and teacher have come and they are on the other side of the battle, he became compassionate. He started thinking, oh, how can I kill my grandfather? How can I kill my teacher? How can I kill my elders? How can I kill my equals, my friends? So many people will die. What is the point of this war? And he started giving many reasons why he didn't want to fight the war. And he started thinking from this perspective, as a king perspective. This will destroy dynasty. This will destroy welfare work. What will happen to the women who will lose who will lose their husband? And these are all real issues. They who will take care of the young? And these kind of harmful effects of destroying the family was seen even in every war, even in World War II. After World War II, in the families of Germany, they found out that it was so difficult for the family tradition to go on. Everything was broken. So seeing, social bad effects, seeing that I will lose my own family members, seeing that it is a sin um to kill, seniors, especially family members. Thinking all this, Arjuna said, I don't want to fight this war. But at the same time, he knew that it was his duty to fight. Why? Because Duryodhan was not a good person, was an evil person. He tried to kill them, feed them poison, put them in a house which was made of wax, and burn them alive, insult their wife, cheat in the game of gambling, and send them to exile, and then not even listen to a very sensible negotiation of 5 villages. Not even 5 towns or 5 cities was asked, but 5 villages was asked. Villages even smaller than that. But not even agreeing to that, such an arrogant person Duryodhan was. So he had to be removed. So Arjuna knew, oh, it is my duty to fight. But at the same time, he was thinking, but the effect of the war is terrible. So what to do? So then he surrendered to Krishna. He said, Krishna, you become my teacher and I become the student. And you tell me what is best. That is the point when Krishna said, whatever decisions we make in our life, we should make it from the perspective of what is best for our true self. Now, interestingly, he says true self. Why true self? Because then Krishna explains that there is an embodied soul within the body which moves from one body to another within a life and after death. And this body is like clothes. You can change clothes, right? Similarly, this body is like a cloth. You can change it. So the real self is within the body, the Atma. And what is best for the Atma is what we need to think. And from that perspective, take every decision in our life. And therefore, he said, it is, therefore, he started explaining in the second chapter that, we should do our duty. A duty, if done so that we will get something out of it, then the next life will be in heaven. Better than that is we should do our duty detached way, selflessly. Instead of selfish desire, we should do it selflessly. That is even better. That will take us to the path on higher knowledge, liberation. And better than that is to do it for Yaggaharta. Yaggaharta means the one, the supreme, who is the enjoyer of all yagyas. And in that whole process, in the second chapter, which is a very big chapter, everything he summarized, Krishna summarized. But Arjuna got confused by one verse. Durehani avaram is that the particular verse is there, which we discussed last time. Just let me show you. Yeah, 2.49. Durehana hi avaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya buddhau sharanam anivichya kripanaha phala hetava. O Dhananjay, keep all abominable activities far distant by devotion service, and in that consciousness surrender unto the Lord. Those who want to enjoy the fruits of their work are misers. So technically, he said, don't be selfish. Do selfless. Second, he said, don't do any abominable activities which are very ghastly. So according to Arjuna, abominable activities were to kill people. That is abominable. That is so ghastly. And Krishna multiple times is saying you should do your duty, that is fight. And here he is saying keep the ghastly activities away. And Arjuna is thinking fighting is ghastly activity. So should I fight or not fight? That's the point he asked in the third chapter, very first course. He says, you want me to engage in ghastly warfare, telling me that, it is my duty. But at the same time, you're telling me to use intelligence. And intelligence is saying that this warfare is ghastly. So what is better? What should I do? Should I fight or not fight? Your instructions are equivocal to me. They're not giving me clarity. So that's how the third chapter starts, where we are here um, on the sixth strength. So Krishna says that we have to do our work because we cannot even sustain without work. So we have to do our work. And then there are two types of spiritualist. One who do it by devotional service, that is by working. And second is those who who do it by philosophical speculation, empirical philosophical speculation, by gaining knowledge and all that. And they live a very secluded life. But most of us, 99% of us, are going to work in this world. This 1% or 0.1% are going to be so philosophical and intellectual. For all of our common purposes, we are going to work. So better if we do it in a devotional spirit, better if we do it in the spirit of yoga. So that is better. And in that, he explains many things. He says, everyone is forced to act helplessly according to the qualities is acquired from the modes of intelligence. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing, not even for a moment. So Arjuna was thinking, let me give up everything and let me go to forest. But Krishna is saying, no, you don't have that ability to go to forest and live in a secluded place. That now you may be thinking, but later on, if you go there and you stay for some time, you may stay, you again come back, which happens in many people. Not everyone can take to that life of living alone in a forest and meditating. Agreed. We have to work, we have to live our livelihood. So Krishna says it doesn't mean that spirituality is only for meant for them. No, spirituality is meant for working people also. This is the point he's making. How? Krishna will explain. First, he's trying to say that work is important, and in that we'll practice spirituality. Okay. So with that introduction, let me jump into text number 6. Any question or comment, you can interrupt me and I can talk. We'll go through this. कर्मे इंद्रियाणि संयम्य या अस्ते मनसा स्मरम इंद्रियार्थम विमूढ़ात्मा मिथ्याचार से उच्यते. One who restrains the senses of action but whose mind dwells on sense objects certainly deludes himself and is called a pretender. What is Krishna trying to say here? Somebody is trying to restrain his senses of action. See, senses want to be active, right? We open our eyes in the morning and they want to do something. They want to see something, WhatsApp messages, emails, and all that. Our hands want to work in the morning. Some exercise is better, right? Legs want to run here and there. If you see children, the moment they get up, they want to move. They want to run here and there. Then father, mother run after them and tell them, now you take brush, do brush, then do take bath, wear clothes. Hmm? Because senses are driving them. No? Mind is on something else. So those who are unable to go to forest and live secluded, if they try to do that, then they will face this problem. What problem they'll face? They'll face this problem that the senses are active and the mind is dwelling on sense objects. They're thinking of some enjoyment, some uh, comfort in the forest, and that will become a problem for them. And then they will end up being a pretender. Pretender means dishonest. That life is not meant for me, but I am forcing that life on me. That's a pretender. So Krishna is trying to explain that kind of life, empirical, philosophical life, is not meant for everyone. Only very few can do that. Like in Maharashtra, we have Ganeshwar. 1,000 years back, he was like that. Very, very philosophical person. He didn't require anything in life. For such a person, that kind of empirical philosophical life is mentioned. But who in today's life can do that? No one. But the moment we get up, we want to see WhatsApp, we want to see email, we want to see this. So we are always working, right? We are always going here and there, some activities there. So we should not get into this pretender mentality. We should be honest with ourselves and we should say, okay, I have to work, I have to live livelihood, I will marry one day, I have children. Okay, is there a spiritual life meant for in this category? And Krishna is going to explain, yes. And that's what solution he is going to give to Arjuna. And okay, so we'll read the purport. There are many pretenders who refuse to work in Krishna consciousness and make a show of meditation while actually dwelling upon the minds upon sense enjoyment. So there are many so-called spiritualists who make a show of meditation. And how do we know that? Because after many years, we come to know they did some scam, they did some abuse case or for women, children, or grabbing land or making just themselves rich. But they are showing they are very great spiritualist. Why? Because their mind is upon enjoyment. I want to enjoy my senses. So these are the kinds of pretenders. That's why we see so many spiritualists failing. Because such spiritualists may also speak on dry philosophy in order to bluff sophisticated followers. But according to this verse, there are the greatest cheaters. So they are cheating people, the so-called spiritualist. And so many scams come, right? If you go back in history, so many scams come up. This sadhu, this Babaji did like this. Today also, even in cities and even in villages, some sadhu, some Babaji is doing some scam. Why? Because his mind is upon sense enjoyment and he's making a show of meditation. So we have to be careful with such spiritualist. Okay, we should not get carried away. Generally, women who are very simple nature, they get carried away by that, and then they become victims of abuse. But we should try to be away from this so-called spiritualist. So let's get further. For sense enjoyment, one can act in any capacity of the social order. But if one follows the rules and regulation of that particular status, he can make gradual progress in purifying his existence. So we can work, and at the same time we can follow the rules and regulations of that particular status that we are in, and gradually we can progress. But he who makes a being a show of yogi while actually searching for objects of sense gratification must be called the greatest cheater, even though he sometimes speaks of philosophy. His knowledge has no values because the effect of such a sinful man's knowledge can be taken away by illusory energy of the Lord. Such a pretender's mind is always impure, and therefore his show of yogic meditation has no value whatsoever. So Krishna is warning that if that particular philosophical empirical path of being secluded in the forest is not for you, then don't go and do that. Getting? If you do, then this pretender kind of mentality will come, and one will again come back to this city life and try to show off the people with some meditation skills and all that, but with the goal of earning money, and in worst case, abuse. So that's why people are very afraid of spirituality. Why? Because there are many scams going on. Every now and the other, this woman got affected, that child got affected. Some scams were done, money was siphoned, right? We have one Babaji who ran away from India, and some place he's creating his own country. What kind of spirituality is that? Which sadhu in our shastras did that? So that's why people get afraid of spirituality and religion also. They say all these religious Babajis are dhokla. Why? Because examples are like that, na? So we should go for true examples and we should test. Testing is very important. See, there are many engineering colleges. Why we chose certain colleges and why we didn't choose another? If I ask you this question, you tell me answer. There are many engineering colleges. Why someone chose this one and why someone chose the other one? What is the criteria you thought about? Any comment?
Basically, it's it's reputation around the country.
A
Like there
reputation,
are
okay, reputation has a point, but
The
is it
quality of output
okay?
of their students.
Okay, quality of output. That is also one. But what is the basic one?
the quality of education that they provide.
No, that is
They've
also
been
fine.
tested over time.
Okay, tested over time. That is also fine.
Yeah, probably the professor over that the
Okay,
education, the quality of
okay.
professors
Teachers, there
that
are good teachers.
teaches.
Okay, any more? Even more basic, which we assume, but it is a very important point. What it is? Any university will say we are accredited to AICTE. We are authorized by government of India, right? If you come
Yeah.
to know this college is not even authorized, and even if it has 50 PhDs, will you still go? No, right? You will say I may get degree, but it will just be a paper. It will just be a piece of paper because it's not authorized by government, right? So like that. So it should be bona fide. It should be authorized. Um, so yeah. So similarly, when we go to spiritualist, we should see they should be authorized. They should be bona fide. They are not just bluffing with some philosophy here and there, putting some jugglery words, you know, and out of which we are not understanding anything. And everybody's clapping, so we have to be also clapping there. No, we have to use our intelligence. Should not get carried away. Okay, next verse. Yastra indriyani manasa niyama niyamarathabe arabate arjuna karmendriya karma yogam asakta sa vishishyate. On the other hand, if a sincere person tries to control the active senses by mind and begins karma yoga without attachment, he is by far superior. So what is Krishna uh, giving us the option? Hey, be sincere and control your mind and senses. And what you do? Karma yoga. Karma yoga, if you simply say karma, what does karma means? What does karma means in simple
It
words?
is the acts we
The-
do.
Okay, activities. And then what does yoga mean?
Yoga is the union of body and mind.
Yoga is actually union to the supreme.
Okay.
Yeah, so when the work is done with the aim to be in union with the supreme, in goal, in purpose, then it is done automatically without attachment. I will explain. And that is far superior. So let me take out some points here. So this is karma, this is yoga, and karma means activities, and yoga means to is this um, let's see font, view view.
It is visible though.
It's visible. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Somehow this notepad plus doesn't have font or somewhere it is hidden. Okay, yoga means union with supreme in purpose, or you can say goal. It's a very interesting discussion we'll have now. First, I will explain what it is. Let's take army person. So, what is activity is? What is the activity of an army person?
To protect the country.
Fight, protect,
Yeah.
use weapon. Okay. And if I say, what would be his yoga then? Don't talk about supreme. Talk in terms of army person plus government. And karma yoga means a yogi plus supreme. Okay. So a yoga for him would mean to align with the government. So his activity we know, fighting, protecting, use the weapon, etc. Now, what would be his yoga? What would be it mean that he is in union with the government in purpose and goal?
Do his activities diligently.
Fine, diligently is okay, but there is something more. Okay, if I say a terrorist, his activity is also fighting, protecting, use weapon. How come he's different from army person? What is the point here? Both are fighting diligently. What is the terrorist missing and what is the army person is supposed to do? That's the difference you need to catch.
Intent is different.
Yeah.
Intent. Okay.
Yeah.
Intent. What is the intent? Intent means intent with intent same as or differing. Which is the intent? Is it the same as government or is it differing the government?
For army, it is same as government. For terrorists, it is different from the government.
Differing the government. Yeah. So we'll remove this. We'll put it to this. This is the difference. So who's in yoga? Army person is in yoga. Why? Because his intent of fighting, protecting, using is same intent as the government. So when Krishna says yogi plus supreme, okay, so his intent is same, his purpose is same with the supreme. Okay, so he's agreeing with what the supreme is trying to say. He's agreeing with the desires of the supreme. Technically, that is what it means. Karma yoga means this. So if somebody is doing karma yoga, this is what it means. But somebody who's not doing karma yoga, what is the definition? It is called karma kandi. He's not karma yogi, but he's karma kandi, meaning he's doing his activities for his own selfish desires. Basically, what's in it for me? What is the fruit? And here he's doing it for the supreme. Union with the supreme, purpose, goal, selfless. Okay. So
Prabhu,
yeah.
so, from that I got understand like I mean for me I am Karma Kandi. I'm not following Karma
Okay.
Yoga.
Okay.
But
Hmm.
but moving from Karma Kandi to Karma Yoga, right, that is
Yeah.
basically the
That is
ultimate goal
the
for
process of yoga.
yes.
Most of the time we are
Uh,
in this, but then we have to come to this point.
yes, Karma Yoga.
Yeah,
Right.
and we have to follow a process of yoga to come to this. See, those who join army now, like I was in a train and this person had come to Bangalore to give an interview for the CDS,
Mm.
but he failed. And then we were having discussion. The other guy jumped in. He was from Madhya Pradesh, and he started saying, the job is like this, the officer's job is like that, and all that. Okay, there is an initial desire of salary. Agreed. There's an initial desire of salary. There's an initial desire of status. But what is exactly army life meant for? Is it meant for salary? Is it meant for the comfort of that salary? What is it meant for? It is meant for higher purpose, right?
Mm.
Like if you hear how they say you don't join army for salary. You join army for what? What do they answer? What do the army people answer?
For serve our country.
Yeah, to serve our country selflessly, and where death is an occupational hazard. Now we are working in computers and in IT industry. What is our occupational hazard? What's the max hazard that can come in our company while working in company? Sorry,
They fire us.
what?
They can remove us from.
No, no, the hazard. Hazard means while working you get some hurt.
Oh,
What can that happen?
Maybe you will develop a poor eyesight due to constant watching
Yeah,
the
yeah,
screen.
yeah.
eyesight and bone
Mm.
pain and ergonomic issues, and
Yeah,
Mm.
worst case some mental problem that can happen. Lot of stress, heart attack. Worst case. Okay. Normal case, this pain, this joint pain, ergonomic issues. Okay, and some stress, definitely sleep issues. That is our occupational hazard. What is the occupational hazard of the army people, which is very common? It's not even worst case, it is a common case. That is death. So initially they may go with the karma kandi section saying that, oh, I'll get a salary, I'll this and that. But ultimately, when they have to take a decision, they have to come to this point of being selfless. Those who got Paramveer Chakra and all that, why they are glorified? Because they didn't think, अरे मेरी salary का क्या होगा, मेरे family का क्या होगा? They gave their life, and therefore they were given Paramveer Chakra. Getting? So understanding this example, we have to think about going from Karma Kandi to Karma Yoga. Now, if I put another word here, you will immediately understand what I'm trying to say. Doctor. What is the activity to treat and all that? If they go with Karma Kanda section, meaning what is there in with me? Then it will create havoc in the society, right? Those doctors who only work for money, they will go to this extreme extent. And there are so many scams also brought out. But those doctors who rise above that salary thought, and then they serve selflessly. In the COVID times, they were found to go to the hospital, even though there was COVID spreading everywhere, right? And some of these doctors lost their life also. Don't you agree? You must have heard this, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But that is their duty. So Krishna is saying, instead of being selfish, you become selfless in your duty. And even if you fail performing that duty, it is successful. Why? Because the whole philosophy stands on this point. We are not the body, but we are the soul. And this soul never dies. And it goes from one body to another. And what it takes is, it takes the karma of the present life and the past life, and the next body is decided. So from that perspective, you decide whether you want to act in selfless mode or selfish mode. If you act selfless mode, then even after death, your progress is guaranteed. Next life is better than present life. So that's the philosophy. So from the perspective of the soul, decide what is the activity to be done in such a way that it benefits the soul in its further journey. And the best he says is do yoga. Okay.
But what if the organization we are trying to follow is selfish in some ways? Like for
Yeah,
example,
yeah,
take
yeah. Agreed. See, spirituality is here. Government or company may not be spiritual. That is that
yeah,
may, that yeah. So in that case, we should do our duty, which is ethical, moral, and we should follow the process of yoga, which we have not discussed yet. So for now, the answer is in one word, because we are in India, we are all Indians and all. You all must have heard Ramayana, right?
yes,
What is the three brothers? Who are the three brothers in Ramayana? There are four brothers, and then there are the three brothers. Who are the three brothers?
Lakshman, Bharat, Shatrughan.
And Ram.
Lakshman, Bharat,
Those are
Ram,
four
Shatrughan,
brothers.
Ram. Yeah,
Those are
four
four
brothers.
brothers. But I'm talking about three brothers.
Okay, Ravan and uh, who is
Kumbhakaran.
Ravan Kumbkaran, and the third one was uh, who is it?
Vibhishan.
Vish. Yeah,
Yeah, Vibhishan.
Hmm. So we know that these two, Ravana and Kumbhakaran, they were not spiritual. Who was spiritual? Vibhishan was spiritual. But then he had to live with these two, right?
yes,
Yeah. But what did he do? He didn't follow what Ravana and Kumbhakarna were doing. Ravana was stealing women. He didn't do that. Kumbhakarna got up in one day and sleeping 6 months and then killing people. He didn't do that. He did his duty. What was his duty? He was a minister in Ravana's kingdom. He did that duty. You have to be administratively perfect. Okay. It was place of Lanka, which was made of gold. He didn't steal gold. He was happy with whatever he was getting. And when Ravana did big wrong, big mistake, he didn't say, "Oh Ravana, congratulations, you did the best thing." He went against Ravana. And what did Ravana do? He insulted him and said, "Get out. If you stand more, I will kill you." And then Vibhishan got the opportunity and he went to Lord Ram. So we have to take example of Vibhishan. Today's society, definitely today's government companies, they are not at all spiritual. They are exploiting the planet and all that. So many things are happening. We should try to be in a government and in a company which is kind of ethical and moral. That is the first thing. And in that we should work ethical and morally. And side by side, practice spiritual yoga, which there are some details to it. But that is the for now the answer. Okay, does that
okay,
help?
got it. Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. So it's a complicated situation. Agreed, But take the example of Vibhishan. That's why Vibhishan was not today, na. This is,
Hmm.
the latest Ramayana that happened was 800,000 years ago. 8 lakh years. 8 lakh years
Oh,
back. The latest. And because the time is cyclic in Vedas, the Ramayana keeps happening. So the latest that was happened was 8 lakh years ago. When did Mahabharata happen? 5,000 years ago. When did Ramayana happen? 8 lakh years ago. And before that, Narsimha Avatar, before that, Vara Avatar, all that stories are there.
yes,
So we are taking an example which is so old, but it's so relevant to us.
correct.
Yeah. Okay. So that's why Ramayana is a very, very important literature. We have to read it, Ramayana and Mahabharata. And in Mahabharata comes um, Bhagavad Gita, which we are discussing. Okay. Going back to our point. So yeah. So now you understand what Krishna is trying to say, karma yoga. That is he's saying far superior. So we understood now it is far superior. Now the question is, what is this yoga? What it is? What is the detail of it? And those becomes a part of the chapters. So let's move. Instead of becoming a pseudo transcendentalist for the sake of wanton living, interesting word, wanton, deliberate, unprovoked, deliberate, malicious, sexually unstrained, unrestricted. So Wanton means immoral, immodest, shameless. Instead of shameless living and sense enjoyment, it is far better to remain in one's own business and execute the purpose of life, which is to get free from the material bondage and enter into the kingdom of God. This is the exact answer for your question. Huh? Don't go with what others are doing, even if they are sense enjoyers, like Ravana and Kumbhakarna. You will see these two people in your company, in your government, etc., etc. You need not follow them. You do your own business and execute the purpose of life. What is the purpose of life? Get free from material bondage. There is lust, greed, anger within us. Remove that through spiritual process and enter into the kingdom of God. After that, go to Vaikuntha. This is our Swartha Gati, goal of self-interest. This is our self-interest. So technically, spirituality means to be selfish. But it is not exactly selfish. It is what? Self-interest. What is the self? What is our real self?
The soul,
What is the interest of the soul?
to reach God.
Yeah. Why? Because God is the supreme soul.
Yes.
That's what it means, yoga. And it and even the word religion means the same. Religion, if you go for the root word, it means religious, and it means to go back. So its real meaning is to go back, and yoga means to join back, and it means the same. But unfortunately, today we have very narrow meanings of religion. It is narrow to identity, but technically it is not identity. Like I am Hindu, I am Muslim. No, it is not that. It means to go back to God, and God has no narrow identity. God is one, just like sun is one for America, sun is one for same for India, same for Pakistan, same for China. It's not like Chinese sun or American sun. No. Similarly, God is one, and He's revealed by different names and with varying details in other religions. That's the only thing. Otherwise, if we go and look for principles, we will find it is same in different religions. So all of them are saying we have to go back home, back to Godhead. We have to go back to Vaikunta. We have to go back to God's kingdom. This place is just a bridge. If you read Bible, you will know this place is just a bridge. Don't make your house on a bridge. A bridge is meant for what? To pass from point A to point B. And if you remain on the bridge, make your house over there, then how can you reach the point B? So this is our real interest. Real self-interest is to reach Vishnu. The whole institution of Varna and Ashrama is designed to help us reach this goal of life. So the Varna Ashrama system, 4 Varnas are Brahmana,
Brahmana,
Kshatriya,
Kshatriya,
Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. And ashramas are Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. So these two goals, these two institutions, or this one institution with this um, what you say, 4 combinations. They are meant to reach us this goal. What is the goal? The goal to reach Vishnu. A householder can also reach the destination by regulated service in Krishna consciousness. So even a householder can do that. They don't have to be empirical philosophers and going into forest, living alone. No. While working, you can do spirituality. And in this Bhagavad Gita, who is the householder here? To whom the Bhagavad Gita is spoken?
Arjuna.
Arjuna. And Arjuna, he is telling, I will go to forest. Indeed, he says this in the first chapter. So Krishna is saying, no, while working, you can do. You are a householder, you have children, you are a married man, you are a king. In that, you can do spirituality. So Bhagavad Gita is actually meant for that. So Bhagavad Gita actually is meant for more people like us than the empirical philosophers. Though they can read Bhagavad Gita, but you can see the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. After hearing Bhagavad Gita, what did Arjuna do? He fought, right? He didn't say, "Oh, okay, Krishna, I understand. Now we'll go to forest." No, he fought. The battle happened. The battle happened for next 18 days. Arjuna is said to have killed at least 50-60 lakh people. Can you imagine? After hearing Bhagavad Gita. But in what consciousness, with what intent, that matters. Okay, that matters.
Yes.
Hitler also killed millions of Jews, but with what intent? Cruel intent, wrong philosophy, wrong ideology. Therefore, he is condemned. But those who get this Paramveer Chakra, how many terrorists they killed? Probably some 4 or 5 people. That's it. Not even 100, 200, 4 or 5 people, and government is giving them Paramveer Chakra. Why? Because with the right intent, with the right purpose. So Krishna is saying, rectify your purpose. That's it. Make it aligned with the Supreme, and then do your karma, and you will perfect. Even with work, you can do. Okay, let's go forward. For self-realization, one can live a controlled life as prescribed in the Shastras and continue carrying out his business without attachment. In this way, one can make progress. So, how to make progress? One thing is the Shastras, the Vedic Shastras, they tell us how to live. There is Grihastha Ashram. There are rules and regulations to be followed in Grihastha Ashram. Live like that. Then there is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya. Vaishya means business. So there are rules and regulations for the business. Follow that. And second thing is without attachment. Reduce attachment. Let's, this without attachment makes us fearful. Or how can I do that, man? I'm working to get salary now. How can I be without attachment? No, you reduce that attachment. Over a period of time, you will give up. What? The attachment you will give up, not the work. Okay. And in that way, you will make progress. A sincere person who follows this method is far better situated than the false pretender who adopts show bottle spiritualism to cheat innocent public. We talked about this. A sincere sweeper in the street is far better than a charlatan meditator who meditates only for the sake of making a living. So a sincere sweeper who follows this process of karma yoga is far better. And Krishna is confirming that. And the Acharya is explaining us two more. Okay. So we have to be sincere in our effort. 3.8. Let's see. It's a little big, but that's fine. Niyatam kuru karma tvam karma jayo hi akamaha sharir yatrapi tsate na prasiddhet akarmanaha. Perform your prescribed duty, for doing so is better than not working. One cannot even maintain one's physical body without work. So whatever your prescribed duty is, whatever your duty is, you do that. And don't give up your duty. See, Arjuna wanted to give up work. Arjuna wanted to give up work. He said, I wanted to go forest. There's too much of fighting here. I will do begging. Probably. Yeah. See, he said, it's better to live in this world by begging. So Arjuna is saying, I want to beg. I don't want to fight. So he was trying to give up his duty. So Krishna is saying, don't do that. You perform your prescribed duty because that is better. One cannot even maintain one's physical body without work. So you have to maintain your physical body. You have to do some work. Na? Don't be beggar. There are many pseudo meditators who misrepresent themselves as belonging to higher parentage and high professional men who falsely post that they have sacrificed everything for the sake of advancement in spiritual life. So again, the same point is coming that there are some there are pseudo false meditators who have given up everything, but they do a show bottle spiritualism, and after many years we come to know they abused this kind, they did this scam and all that. Lord Krishna did not want Arjuna to become a pretender. Rather, Krishna desired that Arjuna perform his prescribed duty as set forth for Kshatriyas, that is to fight, to protect the weak from the evil. That is the duty of the Kshatriya. Arjuna was a householder and a military general. Therefore, it was better for him to remain in such a and perform his religious duty as prescribed for the householder Kshatriya. Such activities gradually cleanse the heart of a mundane man and free him from material contamination. By performing our duty, we become purified. Interesting. Why? Can you think of it? How come? Just by performing our duty, our heart becomes purified. What is the problem with the heart? What kind of dirt is there in the heart? Not cholesterol, but what kind of dirt it is specifying. There is a dirt
Attachment
of,
to material things.
yeah, and that reduces. And we see this, like I was talking about the army people. Definitely, they have attachment for for their families, for their wife, their children. But the moment they become detached, they do glorious things, right? They do glorious things.
Yes.
Yeah. And same things for doctors, same things for engineers, same things for a sweeper on the street. When a sweeper gets a pack of money on the ground, and if he gives it back to the person it belonged, doesn't it come in the news? It comes in the news.
Yes.
He is really, really honest person. So he's developing uh, selflessness. When the COVID cases was going on, you know, um, there was this Sardarji in North India. He 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 started arranging ambulances, oxygen cylinders, and he did this selflessly. And people were calling him from all over the world. Something happened in my family. Can you go there? And he was going there. Selflessly, he was doing. And in the early morning, about 2 or 3 o'clock, he got a phone call from the Prime Minister of India, from that office. And they told him that they are very proud of his work. Can you imagine? So, and then he later on, he was awarded, I think, Padma Shri, or I think Padma Shri was awarded Padma Shri. So that person now has overcome the attachment. And now he can take to spiritual life very easily. Why? Because he's given up that attachment. So gradually, okay, these things happen gradually. It doesn't happen in one shot. Okay, that sometimes we get very excited, but it happens actually gradually, and we need to follow a process of yoga. So so-called renunciation for the purpose of maintenance is never approved by the Lord, nor by any religious scripture. After all, one has to maintain one's body and soul together by some work. Work should not be given up capriciously. Capriciously means without thinking, just for fun or something. Capricious. Give up suddenly, unaccountable change of mood or behavior. Just being moody, I gave up. No, that's not what it is. It is without purification of materialistic propensities. Anyone who is in this material world is certainly possessed by impure propensities of lording it over the material nature, or in other words, for sense gratification, for selfish purpose. Such polluted propensities have to be cleared. Without doing so through the prescribed duties, one should never attempt to become a so-called transcendentalist, renouncing work and living at the cost of others. Okay, so multiple times Krishna is saying, don't do like this. Don't become a pretender and all that. So it's 2 o'clock. Let's open for some questions or comments. Any question, any comment?
I have one question for you.
Yeah, tell me.
You mentioned before that duty, basically, if you do your duty, it will purify ourselves. But it also depends on the duty also, what kind of duty you are doing. Because like if I'm doing a duty for example, if I'm developing a software, I'm doing my duty, and so
Hmm.
it doesn't in general it doesn't cause the detachment. It basically increase my attachment also, because if I'm doing creating a software, so I'm basically expecting that the software will work very fine and I'll get a reward or a bonus something.
Hmm.
So that again, when you get the bonus, you will again get a second chance and a second energy that now I'll develop another software which will basically
Agreed. Agreed.
a better than this
That's
one.
that's pretty common thinking in
Yeah.
business, in our work.
So it
So
depends on the
hmm,
duty also, that kind of duty that you are doing.
not exactly, because I didn't talk about the definition of yoga now. So that will come in the ninth one, which we'll discuss next week, but we'll read today. Work done as a sacrifice of Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction. In that way, you will remain free from bondage. Okay.
Uh,
Okay. So for whom are we working? If we change that consciousness within ourselves, then we won't be bonded. Our material desires and all that will be reduced. We will still work competitively, but at the same time, we won't be attached to this world. Okay. Um, so work done for the sacrifice of Vishnu. So at start, we start with karma kandi, selfish desires. What is in it for me and all that. Then we become a little bit selfless. We do it for the supreme. That's the highest thing. We do it for the supreme. So that is the process of yoga. And um, okay, so work done as a sacrifice of Vishnu. That is one thing. And then without being attached to the fruits of activities, do it as a matter of duty. By working without attachment, one attains the supreme. So don't be attached, but do your work. Example is King Janak, who father of Sita. He did all these duties perfectly, but he was not attached, and he did it for the sake of educating the people, his kingdom. So you follow that example. Um, Even if you fail, it's still success. And with that, I will end. We were talking about Ramayana, right? So there is a bird in Ramayana. What is his name? There's a bird in Ramayana.
Jatayu.
Jatayu. So what kind of duty he did? He did a duty. What was it?
Trying to protect.
Trying
protect
to protect
Sita.
Sita, right?
Yeah.
Uh, did he get success or failure?
Field.
Failed, right?
Failed.
But then he's glorified by Lord Ram. Lord Ram sent him back home, back to Godhead. Why?
Because his acts were selfless.
Selfless. The acts was selfless. It wasn't devotion. It was for the sake of Lord Ram, and it was in devotion. It was with love. So externally, or let's put another thing, like materially, it was failure. But internally or spiritually,
Spiritually.
it was great success. Okay. So what I was trying to explain, yeah, even if you fail, it's still a great success only. It's not a failure.
Yes.
If our product fails, we will be probably kicked out of our company. But We can say, I put my heart in it. And if we are lucky, sometimes we'll use that same idea in the next company, and we will grow, and we'll succeed. This happens. This happens, right? So externally, some failure is there. What to do? This world is like that. Some failure, some success keeps coming. Um, but materially, there will be some failure, some success, and all that. But spiritually, it will always be a success. Why? Because we will do it for the sake of Krishna, and we will offer the results in. Okay. So in yoga, right, this is very important concept. What we will do is, we will offer the results to Krishna. Again, details of how to offer and all that is different thing. It's a matter of details, but this is the main thing. When we do this thing, then it is spiritual success. Jatayu knew that he would fail. He knew Ravana was very powerful, and Jatayu was already old man, but he was kind of a Kshatriya, a fighter. He knew, I have to save the weak from the evil, and he gave his try, but he severely failed. God lost his life, but he got to see Lord Ram, and Lord Ram did his Anta Sanskar. And after doing that, Lord Ram, sent him back to Vaikunta. Said, no more material life, only spiritual life. Go back to Vaikunta. Because he was very pleased. Lord Ram didn't act like our manager. Hey, your project got failed. Get out. You are dismissed. You are laid off. So it's a different thing in spiritual life, where even a failure is also success. How and how, there is science to it. Hmm? So any last point, or we can close? Any last question or comment?
Maybe in next class we can discuss on how to offer the results to Krishna or how to
Yeah,
slowly become selfless.
yeah. It's a part of multiple chapters. Okay, but this chapter will definitely some things we are going to read.
Yes.
But it's a part of multiple chapters. We are in third, and we are going one sloka after one sloka. There are many things explained in 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. These chapters. So
Yes.
at this point, Krishna is trying to build up. He's making his foundation for what to explain in 7th, 8th, 9th, basically in the 9th chapter. So
Okay.
so definitely we'll discuss. But for
Okay.
now, offering the results to Krishna. Even before that, being selfless, being detached, and matter of duty. Just for the matter of duty. Even if one achieves this, right, he gets some progress. And the highest one is when he offers the result to Krishna. So in our job, whatever software and all that we do, we should do it as a matter of duty. We should be loyal. We should do it with our best effort, quality, etc. And then the result that we get, that is our salary and all that, we can use it in Krishna's purpose. How? We can use it in Krishna's purpose. Now, there are very various things actually. There is charity, and then there is spiritual charity also. Simple charity is, helping poor people and all that. And spiritual charity is helping Krishna's purpose. What is Krishna's purpose? Krishna's temple, Krishna's prasadam, Krishna's Bhagavad Gita book distribution, like that. So there are some details to it. Okay. Okay. So let's stop for today.